Morning from Elmley. This is going to be the last late opening of the year before the clocks change. So you can bet your bottom dollar I was up early for it, and I'm going to make the most of it. So yeah, it's the weather's going to get better than this. The camera always makes it look brighter than it actually is. But yeah, so not going to have the greatest light for photography at the moment, but I had a bit of luck. So we just got here. Looked a bit quiet. I had the windows open listening for any little bird calls. What are you? Anyway, probably a blue tit. So yeah, I got onto the main drive just before the entrance, and there was a buzzard on there's 3 telephone lines. They're always good for some bird of prey. And there was a buzzard in the middle one. And I thought, too far for photography, especially in this light, awful light. So what do? Park here and walk down. I parked and got out my cab, and even at that distance, the buzzard took off. And I just thought, okay, so I drove out, came back, and I went, what? I looked up there, and the first one, right there, and there was another buzzard, 2 different buzzards. And as I parked up, I expected it to take off, and it didn't. And I thought, it's obviously no stranger to cars. So I just sat there and got my feel. I turned the engine off so I could record it because it was actually calling. I don't know how well that's going to turn out until I get it onto my computer, but it should pick it up quite well. But managed to take a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes worth of footage and some photos. Oh, hello. I think I better wait here a sec. What's that? That looks like a thrush of some type. I'm looking for redwings and fieldfare. Yeah, sorry. The reason I got excited at the gate there was because the last 2 times I've seen fieldfare were there in the bushes at the front. And I'm sure there's definitely a blackbird that hangs about in there, but this bird was very clearly lightly coloured, maybe greyish. So I got a bit excited. I couldn't see anything. So moved around to the farmhouse because something did fly out of the bush, and I recognised it straight away, even though it was a bit odd. Was a great spotted woodpecker. Now somebody on the WhatsApp group had mentioned that they'd seen one on the sign, I think yesterday or the day before. I went, that's weird. I don't think I've ever seen a great spotted woodpecker here, let alone on the sign. So yeah, I saw it land on a telephone post. So I took a bit of video from a distance, tried getting closer, and yeah, a little bit pulsy with the focus, and then it flew off. And as I looked to my right, the tree by the sheds had a bird on it, and I thought that bird's a bit small to be a pigeon sitting in the tree, and it's like sitting at an angle. I thought it can't be another, and yes, sure enough, another great spotted woodpecker. It definitely wasn't the same one, because the one that flew off from the pole went that way, and this one was still in the tree. So 2 great spotted woodpeckers, that's unusual, definitely. Then in the tree, one of the other trees, I saw some small birds, and they were chaffinch. So I'm scanning every one of them in the tree, because that's where you normally find a brambling. The first time I ever saw a brambling was with some chaffinch. I was scanning through, I think it was 2020, and I thought that's a strange looking chaffinch, slightly different colour, over at Hearty Ferry, and it was confirmed my first brambling. And ever since then, I thought I love that colour, that kind of orange, more orangey colour. Yeah, moved down. I mean, there are several kestrel, one across the road. Moved down further towards the gun club because I saw a white egret type bird fly and land. I thought, it's a bit weird for a little egret to go. We'll go and check it out to see if it's a cattle egret. Pulled up alongside, and at first I thought that's a cattle egret, dark beak. And I looked at it for a while. I thought that's really feeding in a weird way for a little egret. It was feeding around where the cattle had been, the feeder, and picking stuff out and walking in. I zoomed in on it, and it was I think it was a juvenile cattle egret with the dark leg because it didn't have the yellow feet. So it was a juvenile catalytic grip, which is, I mean, it's really weird how they're not bothered by all the gunshots that you can hear them. Oh, there's a lot of action on the track here. I'm having to cut it up several times to let cars by me. But yeah, so I was mentioning the catalytic grip that was feeding. For a second there, if you blink, you miss it. This Kestrel went right by it and it kind of ducked. I just wish I'd been filming that in 120 frames per second because I could have slowed it right down. But they were just they're not bothered by the gunshots at the gun club. It's quite loud. Every so often I was watching a Kestrel, I saw it sort of like flinch. Yeah, so I filmed the catalytic grip for a little while just to see if it would do anything, if it would, I've learned to sort of keep filming and filming, even if you're only going to use a few seconds, and just take the bit that's interesting, because something might do it like a shake up or grab some food or something like that. So I just had to maneuver the car around to see what that bird was on a post, and it looks like a pair of stone chats. Yep, got to check everything, because this is the thing about filming, is that every time I start filming, something pops out. So yeah, I was coming back up, just looking for the kingfisher at this spot. This is the last time I saw it. As I was coming back up, get your mind in gear, Justin. Saw a chaffinch land in the tree, and I thought, let me see how close I can get to it. So I just kind of swerved the car around to get the right angle, and yeah, let me fill the frame quite decently. That's a good area for chaffinch. I got a nice one singing a few months ago. But decided finally better get into the gate. The tide is up, so thinking I might have to go to the hide quite quickly. Don't have my hopes up. A lot of geese. There is a lot of action. It feels good today. Had a heck of a lot of geese around. Be nice if there were any pink-footed or tundra bean, please. Brent geese. I think I've caught up now. Yeah. So let's get on with the day. I thought I'd better do a quick update. I've decided not to do the Wellmarsh hide. I asked Fiona, has anything been spotted there? And it's really quiet. So I'm just, I've strategic planning. I'm not going to waste my time. Spoonbill and some pheasant and some geese. I won't bother with that. I've got more chance of spotting the osprey today. It's been spotted several times. So I'm going to do a couple of hours down here. Also because I'd like to see if the brambling is still around. And nothing yet. Seen a flock of goldfinch, but just along the track, I came across. Sitting at gate 3. I wasn't sitting. I think I stopped at gate 3 for a reason. I can't remember why, but I stopped, and the kestrel, the really friendly kestrel, flew in, went to land on the post on my left, stopped, and actually landed on the post on my right, as if setting me up for an even more perfect shot. Yeah. Tamest kestrel in the world, got the usual bit of, frame filling footage, and then zoomed into the head until some cars made me move. Robins. So yeah, came round, and I saw linnets on a fence post, and I thought I'm not going to get anywhere near them, but got closer, jumped down to the ground and started feeding, and then I saw a bird on a quite sort of bare bit of a small tree. And looked linnet. Okay, so I did the thing where you drive a bit closer, film a bit, drive a bit closer, and yeah, it let me get right into filling the frame. So I've got some footage. Hopefully the microphone picked up its little call. It's all pretty cool, and I snapped off a few pictures. So here's a swale at the moment. The tide is going out. I asked Fiona about the Wellmarsh, and she said it's going to be quite quiet now because everything is starting to spread out. Now there's water everywhere, and sure enough, there are hundreds of lapwings either side of the track, geese. So all the waders are coming in. But yeah, we're going to do our time here. Listen out for the very distinct call of the brambling. Another thing coming down there, I'm sure I heard goldcrest in the tree line. And when I got down to the schoolhouse, there was one very distinct one in the last tree. And I'll find the best picture I could manage, sharpness-wise and exposure-wise, and show you. Whoop. So I'm just balancing on this bench here, which I probably shouldn't be doing. Can you see it? But the weather kind of caught us by surprise today. I've got my emergency stormtrooper jacket on, my neck warmer, hat, gloves. It's not too bad in the sun, but when it was just clouds, woof, freezing cold. Totally. My wife was saying to me, "You know, when you go out, you need a bigger coat." Oh no, big tough guy. Don't need a. I'm good. I'm a grown man. I know how to take care of myself. And I got here and I had the window open. I was like, yeah, cold. Anyway, fingers crossed. What I'm going to do, if I see the Osprey, I'm going to film it in slow-mo. I'm keeping it on the slow-mo setting, and I'll film it because everyone's got pictures, and I just think it will look super cool in slow-mo.